Thanks to you guys, the Social Regressive is really taking off. We have over 17,000 subscribers right now, and that number is only climbing. And some of that has to do with, some of the gear reviews and other kind of outdoor adventure things. But this series right here, where we built this axis out into a long-range precision rifle, this one really seems to have caught a lot of eyeballs and gotten a lot of people interested in what we're doing here. And I want to continue to move everything further forward into the future and come up with some really fun ideas for the sorts of things that I think you might really enjoy. Now, you might have noticed that there's an uptick in quality recently, and I'd like to kind of take you behind the scenes here to show you why things have been getting a little bit better. There's better sound, and there's better light, just a better image overall. So let's take a look here. First, this camera is this is what we've been using for a good long time. This is the little Canon HFR 30. It's just a little kind of handy cam, and I'm still going to use this for a lot of stuff. It's great for action sorts of things, or if I need a really quick, kind of hasty setup. But for stuff like this video that I'm shooting here in the garage, my studio, this is what I'm moving toward. I am moving toward a DSLR, shooting more on here, so I can get better lenses, shallower depth of field, just get a bit more of a filmic look to everything. We now have a mixer that's mounted below the camera, and this thing's really nice, so I can actually get the levels that I want. This is the Tascam DR70D, and we can handle better mics now. The mic that I've been running on this thing has been it's a little Asden or Audio-Technica. It's like a $70 shotgun mic, and it does a pretty decent job, but we can definitely improve. And so here's what I've been using. This is actually Super Crunch's Rode NTG2, and this is a really nice mic that I need to replace. I'm kind of holding his hostage right now. I've had it for a few months, and I really need to give it back. But yeah, we can definitely improve by picking up one of these, or maybe the NTG3, NTG4, somewhere in that series. We've also improved lighting a whole lot. So what I've done is I've picked up 3 of these LED panels, and let me show you how cool these things are. These are ICANN LED panels. These are the variable temperature ones. So these can actually graduate your the brightness levels, and you can also change the color temperature. So watch this. If I'm shooting outdoors, I can switch to that more blue light, 5600 degrees Kelvin. And if I'm shooting indoors with the more tungsten color temperature, I can just roll this back. And what's really cool about these is that these are actually battery powered. These are lithium-ion batteries for Sony camcorders. And these guys will run this light, depending on how bright it is, of course, but it'll go for a good 5 hours, and I can always just swap out the batteries. This is so great for when I'm in the field. These things, I can just pop them on a stand, or I can, throw them on the ground, anything, and get myself a little, kind of a kicker, or I can get a fill light going, even if I'm outdoors and the lighting is a little bit harsh. So you'll be seeing that more in the future. I also have this little guy up here. This is an ICANN Spot iLED 6. So this is a little variable light too. It can switch between daylight and tungsten with just this little filter that's attached here. It just gives you a little gel. So that's what I've been using as my kicker light today. But aside from the technical upgrades that I'd like to make to this channel, of course, I want to start reviewing more gear, and I want to do some more build series. And this is where things get really exciting for me. There are lots of folks that have purchased gear, like, say, a Savage Axis, and you have a nice scope and all that, but really, you just don't see people shooting that much. And there's a whole world of fun out there that you can get into, and that's what I'd like to demonstrate. So I've been able to show that this is a perfectly capable rifle for, shooting in matches. Sure, you're probably not going to win a match with a rifle like this, but you can still have a lot of fun. You can hang out with a lot of cool dudes. Another one that I'd really like to do is a 22 silhouette rifle. There's a competition out at my range. It's called the Small Bore Silhouette. And what you do is you take a 22 rifle, you try to make it pretty heavy, beefy. You get, a really nice stock for it. And what you do is you try to knock over these really tiny steel targets at varying ranges out to, I think, about 100 meters. And at 100 meters, the target, it's not very big. It's a very difficult thing to do, but it's also really fun and really easy to get into. As long as you can find 22 ammo, it's actually pretty cheap to shoot too. It's a good one for kids, good one for adults. So that's a series that I'd really love to do. We also do CMP matches, so any kind of military rifle. It can be semi-auto now, it can be bolt action. They've opened it up to more things, so you can shoot ARs now. So, even with an AR that maybe you already own, you can shoot in one of these new CMP style matches. And, if you shoot in a CMP match, that usually means that, you can get something signed off and you can go buy fun rifles like M1 carbines and M1 Garands. And there's going to be a new batch of M1 Garands coming out of the Philippines. So that might be a good reason to go do a CMP match so you can go buy one of those and actually get a pretty good price on it. Some of the other things that I'd like to do, let me just kick out some of the titles of videos that I'd like to do in the future. There's Concealed Carry for Nudists. Let me check my little list here. The worst rifle you'll ever want to own. I really want to do one on the difference between FFP and SFP rifle scopes and which one is best. And this one's actually going to be pretty complicated. I think it's going to be a fun video. Milliradians versus minute of angle. Why do modern pistol triggers suck? And which ones don't? This one's kind of interesting. Things are it's pretty dynamic right now in the pistol trigger world, but I'd like to kind of illustrate how things are going right now. And of course, I always like to just show everyman sort of gear. I'm not going out there and picking up desert tech and all this really expensive stuff. I want to show the sort of gear that you guys are actually buying and what you can do with it. There's all kinds of fun stuff. One of the things that I'd like to do is actually go out and do maybe some varminting, maybe some coyote hunting or some hog hunting with some of this stuff. That would be a lot of fun, and it would probably get demonetized because we're blowing animals up, but still fun. And speaking of demonetization, of course, YouTube is kind of cracking down on content that it considers to be not so pleasant, and that includes gun channels. I'm not really super concerned about my channel for the time being. Yes, revenues are down, but that's just because revenues overall on YouTube are down right now. They've kind of taken a little bit of a hit with all of this controversy recently. But my stuff hasn't been demonetized, so money's still coming in there. But what I'd like to do is see more collaboration between you and me. And that includes not just subscribing to the channel, but if you can become a Patreon patron of the destructive arts here on this channel, then we can have a real feedback loop going between us. First off, you can actually be feeding the rifles and stuff, keeping me in brass and powder and bullets and all that, and maybe getting into some more interesting gear that you find interesting. But I really want to be able to get some feedback from you and see what things are interesting to you. We're going to have the opportunity to vote on certain things, and there's also going to be some goodies. I'm actually working with a company right now to get some branded gear. We're looking at some hats and some shirts and some stickers. So at certain levels, you're just going to get certain goodies. So go over here and check out the Patreon account just to see what sort of stuff you get. For those that are on the 22 long rifle tier, which is the entry level one, it's $1 a month. That shows that's real value for us here. That's going to help us to keep things going. But we also want to show some value to you too. So we're going to give you some behind the scenes images of what's going on. We might show you certain projects further into the process than I want to show the normal audience. So we're going to get into some stuff like that. And if you're on the 300 Win Mag level, which I think is $20 a month, I have a plan right now for a really neat shirt. It's just going to have the llama logo right here in the chest, and then it'll say Patron of the Destructive Arts or something like that. But yeah, it's all a work in progress, but it's going to be a lot of fun. And what's really neat is if you're one of the top tier, which I think is 338 Lapua Magnum at this point, you get to tell me what to do. So you'll be able to set a challenge, and then I have to try to pull it off, make a video about it, and I think that could be a lot of fun. So yeah, thank you guys very much for just viewing. If you're just watching this video without subscribing, for those of you that do subscribe, of course, that's a big boon for me. It means that I can get the content out to you, in a nice, neat, orderly fashion, and you can find the stuff that you're after just come straight into your subscription channel. So yeah, subscribe if you can, and if you can become a Patreon patron, then it's going to be very interesting. I really foresee good things for this channel, and everything just getting really interesting around here.